Well, some of my older subscribers I know will get frustrated. Apologies. Thank you for being a more long-time subscriber, but I want to welcome the new people. So please support this channel via channel memberships if you can. Please consider looking at my other channels. I just put up some new content. I will put up more new content very soon. So I guess the best place to begin is, well, be careful what you wish for, because I'm sure most people are like, the channel for what it is fairly small. Should be hitting 2.5 thousand subscribers. It only took 4 years. So there you go. And it might seem like, well, the dilemma with any YouTuber is how do you find content to sustain the audience? Well, yeah, be careful what you wish for because you're going to get it. And let me just preface, I don't like using internet buzz terms. I try to do something better than other people. Not looking down. I'm just saying people just get lost in these YouTube buzz terms like troll or rant or blah, blah, blah. And I constantly get disappointed. Like somebody says rant in the title, and I look it up and I'm like, that wasn't really a rant. Why are you calling it a rant? But anyway, we got to say it. So, Streets LA, Scientology Audit, that's what he did. He went on this very weird, incoherent 2 hour rant, and I tried to keep notes, and I listened to this at least twice. So, I listened the whole 2 hours, and then I went back and went through at least the first 40 minutes. And yeah, it was as weird and bat crazy, and I just got lost, like, because he kept contradicting himself. He said one thing 10 minutes, then 10 minutes later contradict himself, 10 minutes later contradict himself. It just got really tiresome. But let me try to be fair to him. And there was a good section where he was much more positive and praised one YouTube channel that does more substantive work on anti-Scientology, which I would be forced to agree with because his channel really doesn't do substantive anti-Scientology at all. So for the very, very new people, I will be real quick. Basically, William got offended, which he admits to this. He does admit to this, that some Scientologist was talking badly about his slain son. His son was tragically shot in gang warfare. Streets decided to retaliate, and he made this Hollywood testing center a big beehive of activity, attracted some new people, and before you knew it, you had dozens of people imitating him. And I've lost count. Maybe, 30, 40 channels were born, and it's kind of collapsed after a year and a half. And here he's reflecting on everything, and he is blaming other people. Some highlights include him getting really mad at grannies, engaging with some hardcore ageism, and apparently really old grannies in the chat destroyed everything. And half of them are OSA. He's very sure that half the grannies are OSA grannies. And there you go. And no, that's not me clipping him. That's he literally says these things. So I'm like, okay, that made no sense. So let me just get to the juicy drama portion, which I'm sure people are more interested in. But I'll try to be fair to go through the good and the bad. Although the first 40 minutes was really rough. No lie there, it was just really rough stuff. So his major conflict is with DOA, another alleged radical activist, and Laura FM, his girlfriend. So there I'm going to be fair. I do think he brought up some factual information because it was very confusing. So the origin of this conflict was that Laura wanted help with a lawyer. And Streets was a little confused, saying, well, wait, what happened? Now, here's the dilemma. So Laura was saying, well, we got this lawyer. And Streets like, wait, that name's familiar. And this gets into DOA a little bit. It was a little weird, puzzling conspiracy he dreamt up, not clear why. But essentially, they were working with a lawyer, with another protester. And DOA got suspicious because they were paying a lot of money, but they're like, well, this deal is bad. So what is this lawyer up to? So DOA just assumed that lawyer, something's wrong with that lawyer. But then they hire, quote, the same lawyer. Now, this is not the same lawyer, right? But Streets was told this by Laura, so that's what he repeated. But apparently Laura got it wrong. It wasn't the same lawyer. It was just a lawyer in the same law firm. But anyway, so then Streets was like, oh, you're lying and misrepresenting DOA. And he's like, no, I'm not. This is their information. So the whole thing was just really stupid. However, we want some clarity. So I want to find that original video where DOA apparently did say, yeah, this is the same lawyer. So he got it wrong. So after that, there was just a lot of back and forth, accusation, counter accusation. And Streets is saying, hey, release the texts. Go on. Release them. Nothing embarrassing. Okay? But then he also got mad that people keep going on about him and his mods on Reddit. Well, a lot of what they do on Reddit is not going through his private messages. They're like, this is public, this is his own chat, which, by the way, is highly regulated and does a lot of censorship. I know because I was in some of the chats, and it is very echo chamber. But you do have a few people pushing back against his, character assassination, which Confident Chris recently confirmed that, yeah, behind the scenes, right, Streets is saying, let's all come together, ignore these personal issues, yada, yada, yada. Behind the scenes, he's not such a nice guy. So he's clearly trying to control people. So Confident Chris exposed this, and now William is like, just release all the texts. I don't care. But you're also getting mad at the Reddit and the grannies. Well, which is it? So that was a little confusing. And speaking of Confident Chris, and give Streets LA one big point, he did address at least the main issue, because this very incriminating text by Jessica Palmadessa. Oh, and we're not even going to go through the full story on that one. That's a huge contradiction, which Streets basically just skipped over, because he says, I'm not here to make friends. So apparently Jessica Palmadessa, who was his friend for the last couple of years, was not really his friend. Right. So anyway, Jessica put out this text calling Laura irrelevant, and Streets is like, that's not me. That has nothing to do with me. Why are you bringing that up? Well, maybe because Jessica is like, you've been your chauffeur. You've hung out hours and hours throughout the whole day sometimes. You, her, and the redacted minor were like the terrible three, just bullying and terrorizing LA. Maybe for those reasons? Maybe for those reasons? Okay, so that was very weird and confusing. If you're saying Jessica's responsible for what Jessica did, that's fine. But no, you guys have hung out together a whole lot of times. You're telling me you weren't aware of who she was or what she was up to? Really? Really? The weirdest thing was he kept going over and over again that, oh, none of this matters. This is all pointless drama. It's silly. It's beneath me. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You devoted at least 50 minutes to an hour plus on this irrelevant issue. So clearly it's relevant. In fact, you kept going into what DOA did wrong and what these other people did wrong. So it's not irrelevant. So which is it? So it was all very, very confusing. Also, because I really just thought about this. So wait a minute. So you began the whole Hollywood Test Center protest, although now it's not a protest, based on personal drama with a Scientologist. So that's legit. So you're mad and petty with one Scientologist. You're like, we're going to have a protest movement. That's okay. But other people having petty drama, that's not okay. How does that work? And I'm not going to deal fully with this contradiction in this video, but he brought up that one of the major problems he had was with this skateboard guy, and the fact that he kept bringing up the issue of Palestine when they would go to the Hollywood Test Center. Okay, well, I got to try to verify that. I don't remember that. And I do try to keep track of these people. Mindy, Jacob, DOA. It was a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Daniel. So you try to keep up, but there was a lot of personalities. Okay, so the skateboard bring up Palestine. Not good. Don't do that. That was the beginning of the end. Okay. But he's emphasizing this, saying, I'm going to concentrate back on my film The Police work. Well, wait, how does that... Wait. Okay, so you bringing up police corruption, which you did even during the Hollywood Test Center protest, that's okay. But people bringing in, quote, other issues... But of course, you could just say, well, no, you're not being fair. Because you see, police corruption is related to Scientology. Yeah, you know what else is related? Fascism. Right? I'm not going to go too in-depth in my analysis of Israel, but I have studied it a long time. I think there's now pretty strong convergence that what they're up to is, fascism. It's been pretty clear for a while, but now it's really indisputable. So skateboard wants to concentrate on what? Fascism going on in a foreign state, even though it's being subsidized by the US, by the way, billions of dollars. And you have this other fascist cult you're protesting. What's the major difference? One's a cult, one's an entire state. I don't see any. We're not losing relevance, right? They're interlinked, literally, because the Scientologists are also taking a lot of money from the government. So I don't quite understand. I don't understand at all. So you focusing on the police and police corruption is linked to Scientology, so there's no contradiction. Right, but other people bringing up their social issues that could be linked to Scientology, that's bad, that's wrong. How does that work? So, yeah, this was just a rambling mess, but there was a positive section, which I want to emphasize, where he did try to promote this more relevant channel that is more solid. Okay, that was nice, but really the centerpiece was just strange that he was the wise, good activist. He had the great master plan, but we all ruined it with the grannies and the OSA chats and the Reddits. Right. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And also, there was no coherence. He just kept going back and forth whether that was true or not. So it's very confusing. So to just recap, he is not denying what Jessica said. So apparently he's like, okay, yeah, that text was real. He's not taking responsibility, even though him and Jessica have been tied together in tons of events. Okay. And also, he doesn't care about any of this stuff. Release the texts, but he's complaining that the texts are getting released. He's getting angry. But he's not too angry because the people getting angry are the grannies and the OSAs and the Reddits. Okay. Righty then. So yeah, you can see it for yourself. Trying to make sense of that 30 minutes. Even if you hate DOA, like that stuff just made no sense at all. It was like all over the place. So I'm like, okay, but and I will look again, but I'm trying to represent it nicely to do a summation. But yeah, it was just rambling nonsense as far as I can see. So, but we'll go through more of what Streets said. Some of it was not incoherent, but that beginning was really rough. It was really rough.